welcome to Portugal. Actually, we're near Lisbon today and we're at the international media launch of the BMW i5 and i7. And to learn more about this car, I have with me Christopher Weil, the head of BMW Design, Exterior Design. And we're going to talk about the design of the car, right? I mean, it's been quite controversial. So I would love to hear your thoughts maybe on the design philosophy of the car and maybe some of the interesting bits on it.
Okay. So when we started the design process of the car, we took consideration of the heritage of BMW because we are very proud of our heritage.
Okay.
This car particularly should be a very modern interpretation of the 5 Series because it's the first 5 Series which is electrified. And also we wanted to show this. Therefore, form language changed a little bit, but is also kind of true to our heritage. Let's start with the kidney, for example.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably the main thing people always care about, right?
Exactly.
I mean, the kidney.
The kidney is the main icon for BMW, and we gave it a width orientation, again, like more horizontally. What you can see here is the execution for the MPA, for the top version of the i5, the i5 M60. And we have the typical M horizontal double bars here with the incorporated M. Besides that, this is the first 5 Series which featured the iconic glow.
So the first one that has the iconic glow. Got it.
Exactly. Yeah. We took this theme of the iconic glow and kind of transferred it into the shape of the daytime running light. So,
and what do you mean by that? Like if you were to point out exactly, like the same theme, meaning kind of the same lighting?
Yeah, let's say the verticality of the kidney in this area here with this upper kink.
It matches the overall shape of the two light bars, you mean, right?
Exactly. This is kind of an echo of the kidney. And also here we wanted to develop the double signature further. We started with E39, as you know, with the Corona rings. And since then we developed the Corona rings further and further with every new generation. But we found out that the competition is also following. So there's a lot of cars out there which are featuring the so-called BMW Corona rings. So we had to do another step, and we were searching for a very strong and very unique signature. And for us, that's this upright-oriented, the vertically oriented double signature, which stands for BMW, which is a very strong statement, which is very sporty, which you will see now on all the upcoming BMWs. The X5, for example, and the LCI features already this vertical-oriented daytime running light. And besides that, we gave it a shark-nosy interpretation on the side view. So they're kind of...
So it's slanted forward.
Slanted forward, exactly.
And that matches the slant forward, the kind of angle of the nose as well, basically. Yeah, got it. So that's the idea.
This was also very important to us. It's also a first for a car that the daytime running light has a certain orientation.
Got it. Now, if you look at the geometry maybe of the front bumper, right? Because that's another piece that's maybe been controversial based on the feedback that I've seen. People feel like there are a lot of geometry going on there, like a lot of shapes. Maybe explain to me if it's a functional design there or it's more of a styling choice.
So the lower part of the black piece is totally functional. You have here the air we need for this car. We have brake cooling, we have air curtains incorporated. That's all functional. The upper part is to distinguish the sport pack from the base version. We wanted to split up the two versions even more, that the customer has kind of a real decision, a real choice, if he wants to go more aggressive, more sporty, or if he wants to go more elegant. So this is the new design philosophy. This is the progressive performer, so-called, and the base version is more the elegant creator, as we call it.
Gotcha. So speaking of interesting shapes at the front, maybe integration that maybe could have done better according to some, not according to me. The radar right there, could you integrate that a little bit different? Because people feel like it looks a little bit strange being right there, and especially with this little, tucked in nose there, whatever that's called. It tends to stick out quite a bit. Like, was there really a function that you had to put in?
Yes. So this is the so-called FRR integration, the full range radar. And we at BMW we always strive for the best solution. BMW is an engineer-driven company, as you know, and this is the best position where you can put the FRR for functionality. And as we feature with this car Level 2 Plus, it was very important that the functionality is uncompromised. On the black kidney, of course, it is more obvious that you have this feature here. If you have the silver kidney trim, the normal one for the normal cars with the vertical bars, you barely don't see it. Here you see it, but as it's like an M derivative, we think it is okay for the customer that you see functionality. You know.
Gotcha. Now, another question, because if we look from the side, and we'll take a look at that in one second, there's some clean shapes there and also in the rear as well. But then you have this very aggressive hood here, right? I mean, you have 4 creases going on here. Maybe explain to me why you have those 4 creases. BMWs have like a couple of creases running down into the kidneys, and now you have this massive one going to the middle of the hood as well.
Yeah, exactly. Here, with the hood, we're reflecting the kidney. So the kidney shape is also, you can also find in the hood. You have the same shape going on than you find in the kidney.
It's got the same width also kind of going up.
The same width going up. The power domes are very powerful, as you will saw, and we also incorporated the BMW logo in a very nice way in this Weil here.
Would you say that this is kind of bring the car very close to what we might see on the M5?
Let's see. Let's see. Yeah.
All right. Now let's move to the side and maybe talk about the design here, because I remember talking to Domagoj, the head of BMW Design, and he was telling me that the idea was to infuse some of the Italian flair into the car.
Yes.
Maybe explain that a little bit more, because people didn't really get the idea of what's the Italian part really.
Yeah, BMW is always considered of the most Italian German brand, let's say. And the Italian flair we wanted to incorporate in this car. This is kind of a certain elegance in the line flow.
I mean, you can probably show us. I mean,
for example,
it might be like a lot easier actually.
For example, this crease line here, which is very precise, but which has a nice flow in every dimension, also in side view, but also in 3D. If you look at it from the rear, it has also a nice flow in this direction. The lower line, which is more curved and adding more dynamic to the car, and the surface play in between, which is very delicate, executed. So this you see, if you take a closer look at the car, there is a lot of muscularity going on and a lot of surface change. This adds to the Italian feeling, if you will, so to the elegance of the car. But besides that, also the pillar configuration. So the pillars, we kind of executed very slim as possible.
Okay.
If you look at the old BMWs, they had always slim pillars and a very light greenhouse. And this we wanted also to incorporate here. And therefore we designed also the C-pillar as slim as possible. So we added this feature for this reason.
So you still have the Hofmeister King, basically. Okay.
Exactly, and we kind of embossed the 5 here in this area to give it more love to detail.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Now, if you look from the side on both cars, maybe the G30 and now this new one, would you say that you have more of a coupe-ish roofline than on the previous model?
It is, on one hand, more coupe-ish because the flow is now kind of nicer towards the rear deck. The rear deck is kind of slanted down a little bit.
Okay.
But on the other hand, we have more kink here than in the predecessor.
Okay.
So the roof is more defined in this area here.
Okay.
There's more surface change, and therefore it is on one hand more coupe-ish, on the other hand it has a bit more character. And what is very important for every BMW is that the roof looks like it's slightly raising towards the rear and then falling down, and this you find here as well.
Gotcha. Flush door handles, styling choice or a functional choice?
Flush door handle, that's kind of both. So, of course, we wanted to make the car more monolithic looking, more clean in its appearance, and like this wouldn't have been possible with the normal door handles, the normal bars.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move to the back. Maybe let's take a look there, because clearly that's changed quite a bit. But before we do that, if you were to look from the side, maybe also from the back, would you say that the overall trunk has shrunk a little bit, like that piece right there?
That piece has shrunk a little bit. So we are also kind of reflecting in this design let's say, the changing sedan proportions, which are getting more coupe-ish and let's say more in flow than before. And the greenhouse looks like it's set a little bit back, so the inclination of this window and of the trunk surface is more in line, let's say. And besides that, we emphasize the width of the car. So it was also very important to us to make the tail lamps a lot slimmer, as slim as possible. But also here we wanted to feature kind of the double icon, let's say. So it's two L's,
so it's still the L shape,
which are stacked to reflect, let's say, the double feature, the double icon in the front. Of the daytime running light into the rear.
Gotcha. So, and I'm always geeking out about stuff like that, but why do you have those notches all the time on the taillight? So if you look right there, it's a little notch. It's hard to see from the camera sometimes, but it's always there kind of thing.
Yeah, that's for aerodynamic reasons. So we're looking deeply into aerodynamics. And these little notches here and the creases here, they cut the airflow very sharp, and therefore the aerodynamics gets a lot better in this region.
So every time we see some of those very sharp lines, especially in the rear, because from what I know, I mean, I'm not a designer, but I know that usually the most important things that happen as far as aerodynamics, they're at the rear of the car. Like a lot of people assume that it's the front, but it's really
it's both.
It's both. Okay.
The front is very important for aerodynamics. Yeah. Also the airflow around the wheels and the front itself. Therefore, the kidney is, for example, closed in the upper area.
Okay, that helps.
That helps a lot. And in the rear, it's mostly these sharp creases and corners, and it's also kind of the shape from here to here. There we kind of improved a lot, and now we found the sweet spot, let's say.
Gotcha. Now, if we talk about the diffuser and all of that, clearly you wanted to give it a more sporty look, right?
Yeah.
And is it difficult to do this considering that you don't have the tailpipes? Because the tailpipes always work really well with the diffuser.
Yeah, we think the solution is very nice because it gives the car a certain width. It's looking very sporty here again, and it's functional. So there's a connection to the underbody, and the airflow also here is optimized. So I think that the solution we found for the i5 M60 is a very good one, also without exhaust pipes.
Gotcha. And now, because we have the 7 Series, right? They're clearly different cars, but I'm just looking now like at the shapes, I can see how more upright this entire trunk is compared maybe to the rounded shape on the i7 and the 7 Series. And this is really something that has to do with heritage, or really just a design choice on this particular car?
This was a design choice on this particular car. So we wanted to have, again, the shadow. This you can also find in BMW models of the past, and then transformed it with a very nice sweep into kind of a light-catching surface. So the surface transition from shadow to light also gives the car a bit more elegance. And as I said before, maybe heritage plays a big role for BMW, and you find some clues here from also BMW 5 Series of the past. For example, E12 has kind of a similar configuration of the trunk lid, of the integration, of the inclination or declination of this part here. Or for example, E60 had kind of a, let's say, feature line in the side which resembles somehow to this car. So we are playing with our heritage, but in a very, very modern way. So we don't want to do a retro design. We always strive for the next.
Gotcha. So before we look inside, just a little bit, we're going to touch just a little bit on that. I know it's not necessarily your department directly, but I'm sure you know a lot about the interior design, so I'm not worried about that. But if you were to pick a color for the 5 Series, which one do you think will show the car's character and lines better? Because a lot of people ask me all the time, which color should I get? And from my opinion, I always say, get the one that you like, really, because I'm not exactly sure. But tell me which one would look best on this car, or which one would show all the lines perfectly.
I think the matte paint is looking really great on this car. The matte paints,
like the frozen pure gray, frozen deep gray.
Frozen pure gray, the frozen deep gray is my favorite, I have to say, because the car is looking really unbelievably good, but it's a choice of the customer, of course.
Gotcha. All right, so maybe let's open the car a little bit and we talk about the interior design just briefly and see what has changed there.
Yes.
All right, so tell me inside the car, right? So I guess BMW, it's always known with the 5 Series to be this business sedan, right? So that's always been the idea. But at the same time, I've always seen plenty of sportiness inside the car, especially starting with the driver orientation. What was your approach here?
Yeah, so every BMW should feature the driver orientation, so you have more driver orientation here than in the, for example, 7 Series. We have also the interaction bar, but it's now cut here in this piece, and it's more oriented towards the driver. And there's more focus on sportiness in this car. So, of course, we wanted also to clean up the interior. Same we did on the exterior, and therefore all surfaces are kind of reduced, calm, also here with orientation, and also the invisible integration of the air vents. That was also very important to us because this adds a lot of modernity.
So I do have a question there, because I know customers always ask me, they're going to ask me about this one. Why did you remove the physical buttons?
The physical buttons. You mean to
Control
move
the AC vents, to control the not
there are
the AC
physical
vents,
buttons
but
here.
really to control the AC. I guess overall, people felt like it was a lot easier to just simply push a button to control certain things, or maybe rotate a knob to control the temperature versus now being all digital.
Yeah. Okay. Also to kind of control the intensity, it's very easy because you have this shortcuts here.
Yeah.
You just press it and it's kind of reacting immediately. Then to control the direction of the vents, you have still the physical knobs here. And let's say with 8.5, the screen is a lot more easier to kind of use.
Yeah, maybe
so
we can
also
show
here
that, yeah.
you can jump directly in, change the climate menu, and you can change also the seat cooling or seat heating or whatever. It's very easy, very approachable.
So this is something that will stay basically. So people always hope that the physical buttons will come back, but I'm assuming this is something to stay here for a while.
Yeah, they're digital, but they're as easy to reach as physical buttons.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And would you say that this is more of a Mini 7 based on the interior design?
Yeah, somehow it features kind of ingredients of the 7 Series, but I personally would say it's a very sporty version of the 7 Series, if you will. So
Would it made sense to have the interaction bar running across the entire dashboard like on the 7 Series?
No, I think that's a nice feature for the 5, exactly to kind of create this cockpit feeling, this driver orientation. I think this is executed very well and very nicely integrated.
And honestly, I'm just happy that you still have the iDrive controller, because I guess that's such an important feature in BMW today, and some of the new cars don't have it. But I guess you kind of need it in this car, right? I mean, it's a car that makes sense to have it.
Yeah, it makes sense to have it. So you have here the iDrive controller, which makes sense for some functions. Touchability is also very good. I think it's a great combination of, let's say, 30% iDrive usage, 30% touch, and maybe 30% gesture or speech.
Gotcha. And steering wheel, the flat bottom, also again a styling decision, a functional decision, because I truly like it. Actually, it's one of my favorite steering wheels when I see that flat bottom, especially in the 7 Series too.
I like it too. So I think the functionality of it is great. I like to drive it as it is. You have more leg room, and it's also adding sportiness.
Gotcha. Okay, so there's a functional piece.
There's a
more
functional
leg
piece
room also.
that you have a little bit more leg room, and to me personally, it's adding a lot of sportiness.
Gotcha. Okay, anything else worth pointing out inside that you feel like it's an important design piece that we might have overlooked, because it's easy to overlook things?
Yeah, the gear shifter itself is now kind of a very nice piece here. It's also in this trim here.
It's
crystals, yeah. But you have all the driving functions in line here. You have this gear shifter, and I think that's a nice transition from ICE combustion engines towards electromobility. So it's fitting both. It's the usage is very easy and very nice actually, and this is a very nice piece in my opinion.
All right, so we've seen the 5 Series sedan, and I'm going to be honest, I've always loved the 5 Series Touring. Yeah. I recall coming to Germany quite a bit, and when BMW press guys were asking me what car do you want to drive, I will always say 5 Series Touring, and I think the last time was a M550D, so that's back in the day. Fantastic car. So with that being said, clearly we've seen the spy photos, and it looks like there is a Touring coming. What should we expect there? Any major changes compared to the sedan? I mean, the overall shape clearly, but other than that.
Yeah, you can expect a very nice Touring. It's sportier than ever, this I can promise to you, from its looks. It's very modern looking, very clean looking. I think it's an awesome car.
Okay, so nothing else that we can tease? Any changes there?
Not yet, but it will be very soon. It will be
and we should expect also like an electric version of the Touring probably as well.
Yeah.
Poker face there. And if you were to pick a drivetrain on the 5 Series as your personal car, which one would it be? The gasoline, the plug-in hybrid, or the all-electric? And why?
I would go for the all-electric, because if you drive this car, it is very easy to drive. It's nice to drive. I like the seating position. When I first drove it, it was kind of a... it took me, let's say, a few hundred kilometers to get used to the new position. But it's very nice. It's so easy and relaxed, and therefore I would go to to the electric version because this supports the ease and the calmness of the car, you know, with a lot of power.
Gotcha. Well, Christopher, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I guess it's time for me to drive the car. I had a chance to drive the E40 a little bit yesterday, but today I'm going to go with this car. So then I'm going to share with you my thoughts on that. Thank you once again, and we'll see you for your next project.
Have fun.
Thank you.
Thanks.